Dallas hits the road to start
2020
Rams, opening up SoFi Stadium for the very first time on Sunday Night Football. Jared Goff is looking to get off on the right foot after a little bit of a flat 2019 season. Oh, the eyeballs that will be on this one.
Tampa Bay on the road to start things off. The Saints hosting
the NFC South season
kicking off with a bang.
No preseason to give us a preview of Tampa Bay's offense with their new QB in place.
TB12.
Everyone knows the story, so no need to rehash it. They're both joining what was already one of the most prolific offenses of 2019. Most passing yards per game. The new-look Miami Dolphins will head up the East Coast to take on the equally new-look New England Patriots in Week 1. No need to rehash the story of New England's old QB. It's all about
CN1 now.
The 0-1 Broncos are road-bound for Week 2, headed off to Pittsburgh, or Blitzburgh in this case, where they better be ready to handle some extra heat. The Chargers play their first game in their new football palace in Week 2, welcoming the defending Super Bowl champs who look like
here.
The Seahawks are back at home for Week 2, welcoming in the somewhat new Patriots, whose offense looked very new. But what did you expect, right? The 2-0 Green Bay Packers are on the road for Week 3, off to New Orleans, who have split their first 2 games, their offense sputtering in Week 2, their first go of it this season without their star receiver. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got their first win with their new QB, now take their 1-game win streak out west to face the Denver Broncos, who will be rolling with a backup QB, but who showed he has some fight in him. The Raiders are fresh off breaking in their new palace in style and take their shiny
unbeaten Raider on the road
to take on the new-look New England Patriots, whose new look didn't quite come through.
They could.
The winless Eagles are on the road this week for Sunday Night Football, taking their battered roster west, where they'll take on the 2-1 San Francisco 49ers, who this season at least are even more familiar with the injury bug than Philly is, but who just showed they can win despite those injuries. The Chargers are headed all the way across the country. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are starting to live up to that preseason hype.
The unbeaten.
That's right, unbeaten Buffalo Bills head to Las Vegas this week. The Raiders awaiting them and hoping the Vegas Strip helps Derek Carr and company get back on track. The New York Giants, 0-4 on the season and yet just 1.5 games out of first place. On the road this week against the Dallas Cowboys, who only have one win, but who are also very much in the thick of the division race. Welcome to NFC East football. The Minnesota Vikings, their first win in hand, are off to the Northwest this week for Sunday Night Football to take on the Seattle Seahawks, unbeaten thanks to all that cooking their QB has been doing. The 2-2 Las Vegas Raiders are roadbound for Week 5, heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, who won their latest game using pretty much the same recipe as they always do. The 1-3 Denver Broncos are heading back east this week. They're opponent the 2-2 New England Patriots, who saw what the season might have looked like
since in one.
The rested Packers are on the road this week, heading to Tampa Bay to take on the 3-2 Buccaneers, who lost a major piece of their defensive puzzle when they lost Vita Vea from the middle of their defensive front. The LA Rams take their 4-1 record north this week for an NFC West tilt with the San Francisco 49ers, who got a few of their missing pieces back last week, but it had the opposite effect compared to what was expected. The New England Patriots, under the 500 mark, welcome in the San Francisco 49ers, who just got back to the 500 mark and got their QB back playing the way they expect him to. The Pittsburgh Steelers, perfect record intact, are on the road this week taking on another squad with an unblemished record, the Tennessee Titans. The Seattle Seahawks, one of just 3 unbeaten teams left, will have to win on the road to stay that way, heading to Arizona in a battle of some seriously high-flying birds. The New Orleans Saints, now at 4-2 on the year, are heading to Chicago this week to take on the 5-2 Bears, who are probably the most offensively challenged 5-win team in the league. The 2-4 New England Patriots are on the road this week, off to Buffalo to take on the division-leading Bills, who got back into the win column despite not scoring a single TD. Division supremacy is on the line. The Dallas Cowboys, 2-5 in the year, off to Philadelphia to take on the first place 2-4-1 Eagles, who finally got a Carson Wentz-like game from Carson Wentz. The 5-2 Baltimore Ravens hit the road this week, heading off to face another one of the league's top defenses in the Indianapolis Colts, who are 5-2 as well, but coming into this game in a better mood than the Ravens. The 2-6 Dallas Cowboys are at home this week, welcoming the only unbeaten team in the league, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just got done with their second heavyweight fight in a row, walking away from both with their champion belt in hand. The 5-2 New Orleans Saints are roadbound this week for a monster divisional matchup with the 6-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who looked good to take the loss to the Saints back in Week 1. The 5-3 LA Rams are at home this week after taking last week off, hosting the 6-2 Seattle Seahawks, whose defense seemed to take last week off. Wide open, it's a touchdown Buffalo Bills! The 6-2 Baltimore Ravens are on the road for Sunday Night Football, taking on the 3-5 Patriots, who at least they started the first team to lose to the Jets. The 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the road this week in Carolina to face the 3-6 Panthers, who are looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. All four of those losses, though, really close calls. The 2-7 Houston Texans are at home this week, facing the all-of-a-sudden relevant again 4-5 New England Patriots, who have run their way back into the playoff.
Ready?
There we go.
The 7-2 Green Bay Packers.
Hey, the road team this week.
6-3 Indianapolis Colts, the home squad. And
this will be.
With Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams having to try and see what they can do against Indy's pass D, which might be the hardest in the league to move the ball against. The rested 8-1 Kansas City Chiefs are on the road for Sunday Night Football this week. Heading to the Strip to face the 6-3 Las Vegas Raiders.
They can't stop us. They can't stop us now. We got to keep going.
Who have to win this game if they want to realistically keep the race for the division title alive. The 7-3 Buffalo Bills are at home this week.
Let's go!
The 3-7 LA Chargers, who are more dangerous than their record sounds due to their freshly trimmed rookie QB.
To the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Chargers. All we need, now we're in the air.
The 7-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home this week, taking on the 9-1 Kansas City Chiefs. And can you imagine the hype that would have surrounded this game if both of their games last week ended the way KC's did?
That's all we got at this moment right here.
The 5-5 Chicago Bears are on the road for Sunday Night in Green Bay to face off the 7-3 Packers, who have to do what they can to forget the end of Week 11 ever happened. The 3-8 LA Chargers are at home this week, taking on the 5-6 New England Patriots, whose defense kept their playoff hopes alive by coming up big against Kyler Murray and company. The 4-7 Denver Broncos are roadbound for Week 13.
No far.
In Kansas City, taking on the 10-1 Chiefs, and I don't think you'll ever find a matchup where the difference in two teams' passing attacks differed more in 1 week than in this game. The 8-3 Cleveland Browns hit the road this week off to Tennessee to play the 8-3 Titans in a matchup of two of the best run games 2020 has to offer. The 3-8-1 Philadelphia Eagles are back at home this week. The 10-2 New Orleans Saints, who might be using its time without Drew Brees to sharpen up its run game. The 7-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home this week,
500
Vikings for a rumble in the jungle. The jungle
in this
is
case
found in the trenches when the Vikings try and run the ball. The 9-3 Buffalo Bills are at home this week, hosting the 11-1 Pittsburgh Steelers, whose quick pass approach finally caught up with them. The 9-4 Cleveland Browns are up to New York this week to take on the 5-8 New York Giants, who have to figure out how to keep the Browns from living in their backfield on pass plays. The 12-1 Kansas City Chiefs are on the road this week in New Orleans as they take on the 10-3 Saints, who took a little too long getting their offense in gear last week against the Eagles. The 6-7 New England Patriots head south this week, off to Miami to face the 8-5 Dolphins for the second time this season. But oh, how things have changed since they first met. The 10-4 4, Tennessee Titans are off to Green Bay for
Sunday Night Football,
taking on the 11-3 Packers in a battle of two offenses that can adapt as well as any in the league. The 9-5 LA Rams head north this week for
He is
Seattle
showdown.
Seahawks, whose defense stepped up last week to lead the way to victory.
Yeah, 3 consecutive.
Limp into Indianapolis on a 3-game losing streak to take on a Colts squad
On a 3-game winning streak.
being powered by its now very balanced offense. The 8-7 Arizona Cardinals make the short trip west this week to LA to take on the 9-6 Rams in a huge game for both teams, being one may not make it to the postseason if they lose because both took L's last week.
Let's go.
The New York Jets, riding a 2-game winning streak, play the 2020 season out on the road.
The short trip to the
6-9 Patriots
also playing their final game of the year.
which is unfamiliar territory for them, being that Week 17 games. Regardless, they do have some guys that finish the year strong, starting with J.C. Jackson. The Philadelphia Eagles play their first game of the season out. Is more than most 4-win teams can say as they head into Week 17. But the squad they face, the 6-win team from Washington, is still very alive, despite losing for the 9th time last week.